And we are live. Welcome to the Standout CEO Show, your gateway to building a standout business with your personal brand. And today we are talking about the wonderful world of online shopping. And I'm telling you that this is a thing that is about to be entirely transformed. And I think the person who's here today, our special guest, is actually destined to be the leader in this transformation.
Oh, I love that.
So I'm being joined today by Nicolas Bailliache, and he is the co-founder and CEO of something called eStreamly, which is a live video commerce platform. And he's on a mission to help brands like yours grow your business through live video and live video shopping. And I'm excited to bring him on today because I've known about this platform, and Nico and I met, I don't know, sometime last year. It's been maybe almost a year or so.
Yeah.
And so I've been aware of what the platform can do and how it's changing the world of online shopping. But recently, you guys just introduced a brand new feature, which I just think is completely brilliant, is going to be a complete game changer because it actually allows you to go live and do like an online shopping campaign with your video where the player that's being used shows up with like a link and a visual image of here's the product. People can click on that and then immediately go to the product page that's your own like Shopify store or your Woocommerce store page. And the stream will still be there. Like you'll be on the landing page and this video will still be there in the corner. And this is the new thing. The new thing is that this can be done on social media. This can be done on Facebook. This can be done on YouTube. I mean, you have to just think about this for a minute, how great this is. Like this is, if you're, I don't know, let's say that I just met a guy locally who is a hat maker and his business is the Boston Scally Company. And the Boston Scallies are the caps, like they're kind of like the working men's cap. They look like the Irish, only it's the Boston version of that. And these are an actual thing, like they're a traditional local hat that working people, working men wore back in, I don't know, the 20s, 30s, and sometime even before then. And so he's brought them back. He's brought it back with like a whole new look, a whole range of different colors and, you know, sort of modern styling on this traditional look. And all I can think was like, oh my God, like, can you imagine having like going into an Irish pub and you'd have all these guys, like these sort of rough and ready guys walking into the Irish pub and doing a kind of almost parody of a fashion show where each one is wearing a different cap and they come in and they sort of model the cap. And every time this is happening, and then you talk to the guys, like, why did you pick this color or whatever? And they're talking about how proud they are of their particular hat. And all the time down in the corner is like, here's the hat. And if you decide you like that particular one, you could just go click and go get it all while this is happening. I mean, oh my God. Just sort of like,
think about that doing at St. Patrick's Day, and on
right.
top of that, you have a partnership with Guinness, right? And
Right,
there you go.
right. Okay, well, anyway, I just kind of teasing the possibilities here. So let's step back for a moment and go back to this time when you were looking at this thing of the world of online shopping. And for whatever reason, you saw an opportunity for innovation and an opportunity for disruption, which is what you're about to do or you're already doing. And so talk about that. Like what was the problem that eStreamly is now solving that you've really set off to do?
Yeah. Well, first of all, thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be here. And I'll tell you, you know, it's funny. So I come from a family of entrepreneurs. My parents were fishmongers. So by the age of 7, I was selling fish on farmers markets. You know, and I've done that for many years with them, and then grew up from that. But the power of selling people to people is absolutely fun. you have a product and you know your product, there's no better person than the founder or the owner of the company to sell. And anyone that has a product will know that, right? Like if I sell my product, I get twice more sales than if it's a random person selling it for. And so that always has been one of the things. The other thing that through my career, I had the chance to, live across many countries, and I always wanted to be an entrepreneur at some point. But the most daunting thing for me was, as the economy going digital, how do you get your product to market? That's always been like, I'm happy to talk to people, and I know I can probably sell them something, but that's like getting to do selling through picture and text. That's not me. I'm not a great marketer on any of those things. And so in 2018, I kind of met my co-founder, and I was like saying, how do we bring people at the center of e-commerce? Like, I don't want to deal with a machine, or I don't want to deal with a picture or a text. I want to talk to someone, and I want to, instead of going to a store, I want to be able to go up to a page and start to engage with the person, know their story, why they picked the color blue for this thing, and how does it look like and all that, and have a conversation with someone. And we looked at different technology. At the time we were like, shooting the stars, how are we going to do VR stuff and all that? And obviously it's not res ready. And we kind of looked at blockchain and some of the tech, and we landed on live streaming back in 2020. And from there, we looked at it and we found it's very interesting. We looked at what's going on in the rest of the world, especially in China. And in China, it's a massive thing, right? Like 15% of the e-commerce today is done that way. There was one person that sold for $1.7 billion of product in a 12-hour live stream back in October. Think about that,
Wow.
right? The biggest Macy's in New York, right, sell 1.3 in 12 months, in 1 year. This guy sold 1.7 in the 12 hours. Because what? Because the reach is incredible. There's no limitation, right? The more people you can bring on, and then people just want to have that genuine engagement. And that's really what I felt like. We gotta find a way to make this happen and make it accessible to the many, not going and shooting the star and like there are already companies doing that. You spend 10 grand and then you have your all things all beautiful, but I don't have 10 grand, so how I can get that done? And so that's what was the birth of Streaming.
Yeah, the way you're talking about this, it really reminds me of what a lot of young people don't even, like they're so young, they don't remember a time when you could go into a particular kind of retail space and the people behind the counter really knew about their products. So, the biggest loss that I feel is in the music world. I remember going into record stores. They weren't music stores, they were record stores, and you could get 45s and you could get, the LPs, and basically you'd have, Tower was a big company and you'd have racks and racks of stuff, but the stores to go to were the small retailers where there were usually a whole bunch of young guys. There was always music playing, and they were usually playing like the latest, coolest thing that they had discovered. And then when you were walking around and looking at stuff, certain part of a collection, somebody would come over and you get into this conversation with them. And it would be about a certain band or a certain musician or a certain artist. And they would help you and take you on this kind of journey and said, oh, have you heard this one? And then they literally pull out a record and put it on the record player and start playing it for you. And the transfer of that, like when you look at, okay, well, what has happened to music these days? Well, okay, now we have what? Spotify. Well, it's kind of cool that all the music in the world is available, on a little device like this. I can go to Spotify and listen to anything, but there's no actual person who is going to help me figure out what's new or what's good or what's worth listening to. And it's, I think, across sort of the entire retail space that's moved online, this is what has been lost. And I see with what you're doing, a huge like going back to this personalized way of being able to interact with somebody who really knows what the heck they're doing, and you can, yeah, get like whatever passion you have, you could actually talk about it. Like if you're a cigar lover, if you're a wine lover, if you're a car lover, like whatever.
Yeah,
There's a,
it's absolutely this, right? To think about the way like mom and pop shop, the way they thrive is because they have to be deep in the product, right? They have to know everything, because why would you go to a mom and pop shop if you can go to Walmart or any of the other stuff, right? They have like a special assortment, you have a connection to those people, but their reach is at the periphery of their retail store, right? Now, if they go online, they can't, that transfer of knowledge is lost, right? Or it's difficult to extrapolate that, but they still have it.
yeah,
And so how do you give them the reach of a Walmart, like the ability to be not a Walmart, but like the ability to talk to as many people as they want to in the period that they control, and still provide that unique value that they have, the love for their, like the love for this product, the knowledge of this, the music record, like why you should share, like, in live stream, this is the beauty, right? Because it's a two-way conversation, right? It's you have the chat, people chat to each other, you have a community being built, people come and hang out. They might not shop, but some will shop, and some will want to know that, hey, my friend shop, and this is what he bought, and then why did you buy that? What did you offer that as a gift? And then people start to exchanging, and so now you are engaging real time with your audience. And I think, and have the buy button, we live in a world where everything has to be seamless and have to be, and so putting that together makes, in my point of view, tons of sense. I mean, that's why we launched it, at least.
yeah. Well, I think a lot of this has to do simply with customer experience and really enhancing that experience. And I mean, the ability to turn shopping and, online shopping and television shopping has been like this for some time, to turn it into an actual event that a crowd of people will want to come to. That's one level of this. But the idea that you can do that, and on the one hand, there's an education component. On the other hand, there's a engagement component. On the third hand, there's this community component where, the people who are really into this kind of thing, they're the ones who are gathering at these kinds of events. And that's one of the big reasons why they want to be there. And so even if you had, I don't know, maybe you were a backyard barbecue, thing, and you have a roadside stand and your specialty is the sauces, and that's what you sell retail wise, you could be hosting your barbecue events, with real people in your backyard, and at the same time streaming all of that. And all the barbecue lovers and all the barbecue sauce lovers could congregate. And while this event is going on, they could be, having this almost separate conversation around, their preferences, what they think is good, and so on, like on and on and on. Like, this is really amazing.
Yeah, and I would extend this idea from an event to a channel personally, because
Yeah.
at the end of the day, especially if you're thinking about community, right? Like an event, it's super hard to organize. Like everyone that has organized an event will know that it's costly, it requires efforts, But if you create a channel, then all of a sudden the things flip, right? You go to the store every day, or maybe, like this is your routine. Your store open 7 to 10, whatever. That's a routine. People know that this store will be open at that period every day. And if you start thinking live shopping as the same way, and people have expectation that they will know that you'll be there at that time. You have your show is on Thursday. People that wants to tune for the show, they will tune in because the show is on Thursday. They know it, and they can watch the recording if they miss it, but they know that on that day, at that time, you'll be there, you can engage with them, right? And so if you turn into that, then you're going to start to see that the community is not only going to engage with you, but first of all, the sales are also going to grow, and your cost of acquisition of those customers is also going to drop significantly, because you don't have to advertise it like massively to have a return like as an event will be, because you're just there. And yes, it's more time, but that time will pay off like big time. And we have example that I can share where, like people have done live 6 day, 6 day a week, 2 hours a day, and then for 3 weeks have no sales. But then by the week 3, things start to click up. And by month 2, that person was selling over 10K of product every day, every live. And so, and
Wow.
that continues scaling. And so at the end of the day, it's about this notion of, the channel, and it doesn't have to be 6 day a week, right? But the channel is like knowing that people you'll be there. And so that online community can gather around you.
Yeah. Well, okay. Well, let's turn our conversation in that direction of how, like, what are the basic elements to creating a regular live shopping channel?
Yeah. So that's a really cool question. The number one thing that you want to think about is who is going to host the live, right? That's the question, right? So,
Yeah.
and my recommendation is always trying to identify a person that is good on camera, obviously, that is comfortable going on camera. And I mean, I think we all are somewhat afraid of going on camera. But the first thing to realize is that it's not because you're going to go on camera that millions of people are going to show up. So if that's if you're afraid of that, don't worry, that's not going to happen. So the world is not going to jump on you at the moment you open the camera. So you have time to get ready and acquainted to it. But so identify that host. And we actually had a podcast on this episode of the very specific, the way that BattleBox it identified their host. What they were doing is that it was a company that was sending out samples of their product to different creators, and then one creator ended up sticking and creating a community around the sample. And they love it so much that they asked that creator to got on board and be the representative of the brand. And now he's the one full time doing this. So that could be one way. Could be another way. Could be in your store you have a person that is passionate about your product like no one else, and he has been very good on social somehow, somewhat. Is quite effective, and you give him then the opportunity to rise and say, hey, would you want to do this? Or maybe the other opportunity is the brand spokespersons. Like maybe that your CEO or the marketer is always up there and talking about that. Then ask him to do that piece, right? So identifying those is something. Now, it's not because you have one host that person has to do the whole thing. It could be rotation between people, having guests, and then all that. The second thing is like you need to have the right technology. Obviously, I will say that Stream is a great technology, but there are other things, right? You can start today and experiment with for free with Facebook. Like you can go open your Facebook and then have a link of your Shopify account for like on description, and just say, see if people clicks, just to experiment, right? I mean, it's not very efficient, but you can do that today for free, right? So you can do that, or we can work and help you out do that in a more seamless way. TikTok is also offering that for creators that are on Shopify. They can actually go and start selling. So that's another opportunity. TikTok is really interesting because the algo will not push you for at first, but then as soon as the algo start to see engagement, you will rise. So that's a really cool way to go. So identifying your platform and your tech, identifying your host, and then the other thing you want to think about is how do you get to tell your audience about it, right? And so if you do an event, you have to spend a lot of time on before the event, like telling the world that your event's going to happen. Then you have your event, and then you have to continue the conversation by repurposing the content. You have spent an hour, 2 hours, 30 minutes talking about your product. You can clip some of those, put it on social. You can take just the audio piece of it. There's a lot. This is a source of wealth of content that you can repurpose and push, and announce the next event, announce the next thing. What we also see is that videos sell as well as live stream, right? So on a live stream, generally we see a 15-20% conversion rate, but on video you see a 9% conversion rate. So just using the video that you produce that day, you can put that on your product page, right? And that will help people understand what you sell. So this is all what you can do with that content. if you do a channel, then just be regular. That's the most important thing. Show up, decide the time you go, and then show up. I think 1 day a week is a little, it's okay, but my recommendation is do at least 2 days a week, and then, show up. And then this is 95% of the work is just showing up, right? And then the content will flow. People will ask questions. It will vary by itself. Then you can go into crazy stuff like, okay, I do a game, I do this, I do that. But that piece, you can think almost it like as a second step.
Yeah, I mean, when you look at a platform like TikTok, there's a lot of people, the older they are, the more they're in this camp of looking at TikTok and going, oh no, that's not for me. That's for super young people. I am not going to get up and start dancing. I'm not going to point to speech bubbles. I'm not doing that. And when you look at live streaming, it changes the equation. It really changes the proposition. Like, even though TikTok is known for short form content, when you go live, there's no limit for how long you can be broadcasting. So you don't have to worry about only doing something for 15 seconds or 30 seconds. You can go start your broadcast and go for as long as you want. And the same thing of, worrying about like, well, I don't want to make all these little short form videos. I don't want to be bothered with that kind of content creation. Well, if you go live for even half an hour, or more, you have just created a ton of short form videos in the form of, pass it off to an editor. And I mean, this is basically what I do with my clients. Yeah. I help people create live video series that is basically a podcast or version of a video podcast, kind of like this show is. And then following that same content can be cut into short pieces and then posted and spread across all the social media channels that you want to put them on. And this works really well. It combines like you as the talent, or if it's not you, the person you've hired to be the talent, does this good, engaging content creation. And then the follow-up is little bits, like little tiny teasers get thrown out, and like really the highlights, the best parts of your content. Yeah. And that does a couple of things. It not only creates awareness for your brand, but if it's done well, it's going to create demand and interest in your event, in your campaign, in the channel that you're doing. So people are going, oh, they start learning, like they see you all over the place and they're like, oh, I could attend live if I show up on Thursday morning or whenever it is that you go. So all of that.
There's another beauty to that, right? The bigger the company, the more time you're going to spend to create your video, right? And so let's say you produce, 4 clips of 30 seconds a day. That's probably going to take you 3-4 hours of work, right? To do that. What if you just say, you know what, out of that, I'm going to just take half hour to go live every day. Just that, And then on top of that, that content is actually shoppable, right? Your video that you're creating, they look nice and everything, but they're not shoppable, right? And so, people can't engage on, they engage on the chat or whatever, but this, on a live stream, people got the chance to speak with you. And you already have the set, right? Because when you create your short video, you want to have a different set and all that. So you're already thinking about all that content piece. So, press the button and go live and just start talking about your product and your passion. And at the end of the day, people will spend 6 minutes in average on your live. So the beauty is 6 to 7 to 8 minutes. The beauty is that if you do a 30-minute live, you actually just want to have content for 6 minutes and you want to wash and repeat. And after 6 minutes, like if you've done a Twitter Spaces or if you've done like a Clubhouse, people will tell you, let's reset the room. You do exactly the same when you do a live. Guys, this is Nicolas. I'm on the live stream. I'm here with Brad Powell and we are talking about live stream shopping. I'm so excited to have you. And through that conversation, we are trying to understand like what can live stream shopping do? And then you go on and on and on and on, right? And you can do the same thing with your product.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we're getting close to the end, but I do want to go into more detail of this new feature that you've just released, which allows for this experience to be done across different social media channels. So can you talk a little bit about that? Just kind of describe how this really works.
Yeah. So actually, it's about to be released.
Okay.
It's releasing in less than a month. But basically, the idea is that today we connect your e-commerce, so Shopify, Woocommerce, and we're about to have BigCommerce very soon, and some other platform. Your payment process, so it's your data, your payment, your content, so everything about you. We are a white label solution. So, and then what's going to happen is that people will go to a live event. We provide you a broadcaster, so at the moment you go live, it's on your website and then simulcasted across social, Facebook, YouTube, Insta. And on those environments, we have a little magic that enable people to actually engage. And it's not through comments, and people will never have to leave the stream. So right now we're still, as I say, we're releasing that. So if you want to have a sneak peek, please reach out to me. I'd love to show you. But basically the idea is that what I think the beauty is for creators, for instance, that wants to monetize, right? Monetization is such a big problem, right? For creator. But this is an opportunity to get tips, to start selling product on dropship, do all the things, monetizing from the moment you start creating. You don't have to wait for ads to do that. You can do it today. For a brand, it's an opportunity for them to expose their product, but also collect information like how much money are you spending to grow your influencer on your LinkedIn, on your Instagram, on your Facebook and all that. Do you have access to those people except through a DM one-on-one, right? What if you could do a live stream? People will just show and then they sign in. And at the moment they sign in, now you know exactly what that person does. Like they added this product to the cart. They actually did the cart. They actually start to chat. They like the video. They went to watch other video. Now you can have an understanding of where is your customer in their journey. And you know that this is the customer from Facebook and this customer from Instagram has different behaviors. So now you can start to understand and retarget your customer. Maybe you didn't have the sale, but you know that this customer, maybe I should push them a content more related to who I am as a brand. Or maybe these customers, like they actually are right to buy. They added 3 times this product on the cart. Let me send them a coupon. It's probably a problem of price. So you can get those insights and really push the narrative to more than just selling. Because if you go live on social right now, which you can, you get zero data. So you don't know, and a lot of brands are anonymizing actually the shopper. So you have no understanding of like, who is that person on the other side? Is it my mom or is it actually a real shopper? So you can do that with our technology.
Yeah, I love that. I mean, the part of being able to actually know who the folks are who are showing up and act literally browsing your products. That's just amazingly good. I think it's revolutionary. I think it's bound, like you're about to bust open this world, the world of online shopping. I'm really excited about this. It's a killer app, absolutely killer. So I just want to thank you for coming on today. This has been a fantastic conversation. I just want to kind of tease this issue so you guys who are listening are just getting excited about this. If people are, turned on and they're going, okay, I need to know more about eStreamly and this guy, Nicolas, what's the best way for them to reach out to you?
Yeah, so if you want to reach out to me, just send me an email. I'm a very accessible person, and my email is Nicolas, Nicolas, at eStreamly.com. So very simple, ESTREAMLY.com. And you can check our website. It's try.eStreamly.com. And we're also on social. We're trying to be a little bit more active. We have a community, and every Tuesday you can listen my wonderful French accent alongside my great host, Whitney Lauritsen. We have a podcast about live streaming, e-commerce, and content creation. So really at the junction of those 3 elements. It's called the Live E-commerce Podcast, which we decline to a community and as well a newsletter. So if you're interested in the space, don't know yet if it's for you, how does it work? We're trying to be as much as agnostic as possible on this platform. So please feel free to tune in.
Awesome. Great. Well, I'll make sure that links to you are in the show notes. And thanks so much for coming on today. This has been fantastic.
Thank you, Brad. It was a pleasure.
You're listening here at the end. I just want to remind you that if you would like to go and get all of the episodes and the entire archive of the Standout CEO show, just go to standoutceo.com and it's all there, all the audio, all the video, and you can binge to your heart's content. And of course, the best way to join us is to join us live every Tuesday, every Thursday at 11 a.m. Eastern Time. And until the next time, so long, everyone.